Maria, is France serious then about this veto? I was interested to see the French Prime Minister making visits to fishing communities in France just in the early hours of this morning. Nice sort of symbolism there. Is France serious then about this veto?
Yes, Anna, there's a lot of symbolism in that visit happening today, just a few days before European leaders get to Brussels for a summit. Now, what I would say, Anna, is, of course, we know that the French could veto this, but any country in Europe could do the same. We know that this deal is going to take EU 27 unanimity. So if you look at this comments in context, and they go back to yesterday, Barnier briefing EU 27 ambassadors, it really is more than a threat, it's a reminder that European capitals do feel like we've entered the end game here, that whatever happens is going to happen in the next few days, and they want to stay in the loop. They really want to know what is happening in those technical talks between the UK and the European Union. But it's also a reminder that ultimately, Anna, this is a political deal. It will come down to the European leaders. It will come down to a political agreement. The technical details, we know 95% we're almost there. This is done. It's really the political momentum and the political push, and this will come down to European leaders. And of course, Macron has been tough and has been a hardliner on the fish. He needs something that he can sell back home and doesn't look too much of a concession. I would also stress it's not just the French. By the way, we understand that the Belgians were very much on that same page, and the Dutch too, of course, in common. They all have that they are coastal states with the United Kingdom, so that is no surprise on that front.
Yes, indeed. No surprise the Prime Minister of France went to a channel port this morning. Let me ask you about the timeline for all of this then, Maria, because I see that Simon Coveney, the Irish Foreign Minister, is just talking on Irish radio and saying that he hopes the Brexit process is drawing to a close. I'm sure many share that view. What does the timeline look like between now and the end of December?
Anna, this is a question that I ask all the time here in Brussels to everyone that we speak to, and I would say the situation is very fluid, and anyone that tells you he or she knows exactly when this deal is going to come through, I would personally love to speak to that person, because we hear this could be anything. You know, you were looking at the technical deal perhaps coming this week, but really what matters is a political deal, and that could be a situation that would stretch into next week, into the European summit. That is problematic for one reason, though. I am reminded that this summit is very much about the European internal affairs. The European leaders do want to talk about the European budget and the European recovery. They have to deal with the Hungarians and the Polish too on that front. And again, and going back to this idea that we talked about, it's not so much about the deadlines, but also the political momentum and the political moments and phone calls that we still may need. Perhaps that moment between Boris Johnson and Emmanuel Macron may still be needed before a final deal can be agreed. So it's very fluid. And I would say when you talk about deadlines, it's very hard to put a date on this at this point.